NWSL Week 23 preview, a WSL weekend preview, and we're going to get a little spicy with our halftime suggestions in the wake of, I don't know, the NFL's halftime entertainment selections. But McCall, you are absolutely glowing. How
Thank
are you
you.
today?
I'm doing fabulous today. I mean, how can we not? We've been blessed with another day to just rock this soccer life, talk about some good stuff coming up. The NWSL is in its most exciting time right now. Let's freaking go.
My beacon of positivity and light here. McCall. And then Lori, welcome back in. I know you have been a traveling woman. Love to
Yeah.
see it. Love to see that you made it with us. Otherwise, I was going to be sending angry emails to all of the local airports.
Yeah, fair. I'm here though. Look at us three. So yeah, always good to see you both, and excited for the show.
Well, you know what? Let's jump right in because obviously all of the internet is talking about how the NWFL. What league are we talking about now?
Wait, that's clever.
NFL.
That
NWSL.
sounds right.
Hand egg, okay? American football, the NFL Super Bowl halftime entertainment will be the incomparable Baboni. And so, of course, outside of me just randomly starting to sing all of my hits from Bad Bunny, I want to know if NWSL ended up popping off with we won't call it a halftime performance because I hope it would be like, I don't know, before the match or after the match. But who's your pick, McCall?
Okay, first of all, shout out to Bad Bunny. He is
Yes.
in the Latinx community. He is killing it. He is like the guy right now. People are going ham on him, and I love it. He's a perfect choice. For me, my choice. So y'all, I just saw Dua Lipa 2 nights ago. She came to
Oh,
Dallas
nice.
at the American Airlines Arena. She smashed it. She was just magic. Like when I left the concert, my face hurt because I was like smiling the entire time and like dancing.
Cool.
I did not sit down once. Her song choice was amazing. Her production was amazing. So for me, plus, have y'all seen that she's super into football?
She is, and she's done performances around it. So I feel like this isn't outside the realm of possibility,
This is
McCall.
possible. Like, let's like write to her. And she like came out with this jersey, like her tour. She has like a soccer jersey like made for it, and she sells them at the concert. I almost bought one. So if you look online, people have like photoshopped like all their favorite teams like with her wearing that jersey. So she's like so in the soccer world. So for me, it's a Dua Lipa vote.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Dua, if you're listening, and you should be, like just pull up. What if we just call Dua up?
Let's
Maybe
just
maybe.
at her 12,000 times.
Yo, chat, I'm looking at y'all because I know that you're a force to be reckoned with. So I mean, maybe we just, hey Dua, have you heard of Attacking Third? Have you heard of NWSL? I know you have because you're into ball. You know ball, girl. Lori, who would be your pick?
Okay, well, I love the Dua Lipa. Okay, I have a couple actually, because initially I was going with Chaperone, and I'm like, yep, let's go. And then I was like, why not just go big and let's go for Mariah Carey? Let's bring her in, go for Mariah.
Ooh. Whistle notes at halftime? Heck yeah.
Does she still like do stuff? Is she into it
Oh
or
yeah.
Listen, we're
She's
bringing her
still out
back.
there. Dang
okay?
it. That mic is on. So yeah, I
Yeah,
fear we'd have to probably throw in some extra incentives like a throne that she's carried out on.
fair.
I
Let's
was
do
gonna
it.
say I've heard
Yeah,
some rumors and I don't want to continue them, but I heard she's really difficult to work with.
she's a
Who
diva.
cares?
I
Let's
respect
go.
it. You know what? I don't care. Bring it
Lori's
on.
a
I will
diva.
do her rider could be as long as War and Peace. I will fulfill every demand. Don't you worry. I'm on it.
Okay, get the
I
check on
feel
this
like
too, right?
all I want for Christmas is you, but like in November for the NWSL final. It's fine.
Coop, you're
Uh,
younger than us. You're gonna pick someone Gen Z as heck. Let's hear this.
I don't think so. I think I'm going to surprise you. So, you know what? In the grand spirit of never let them see you come in, I like that we're getting Baboni, but I think I'd like to stick with that multiculturalism. So I'm gonna have a trio, that kind of amalgam act,
You're
okay?
making a
But
band.
I mean, not a band, but you know how like
This is
sometimes they
even
tag
better.
in, tag out, like Aerosmith has
Okay.
done the halftime and they like invite a special guest and whatever. So hear me out, okay? Maluma, just because I would drink that man's bathwater, I'm not gonna lie. Um, but him, I love his music too. You need to listen to him if you're not on with Maluma. But then also Stromae, because we need to get some français in there. Je ne parle pas français, mais je comprends un petit peu. So I'm like, let's do that, right? Allons on danse, right? And then we get Manu Chao because he sings in Italian, French, and Spanish. So we could be like, que corazón, mi corazón. So that's going to be my absolutely insane
So you're
NWSL
putting on the
halftime show.
UEFA Champions League halftime show is what you're
Oh,
doing.
cooler.
Okay, so are
Going
ours
very
being the
Euro.
national anthem then? Because you this is perfect.
We'd be like, hey, listen, we got it on lock. With that, I think now is a good time to say thank you to everyone for joining us here on Attacking Third. Whether you're with us live on YouTube, which is now youtube.com/wgolazzo. Yes, the channel has changed, but not us here at Attacking Third. Chaotic and goofy as ever, but also informative. So welcome into the show. We're happy you're all here. I want to talk a little bit about WSL week 23. I'm going to call it the heavy on the do or die implications for the mid and lower table teams week, where the top of the table can afford to manage a little bit more rotation and minutes. But we still have some really big stakes in here, especially Sunday, October 5th. We have Chicago Stars, who are already eliminated, versus the Utah Royals on P+. We have Gotham versus Seattle Reign FC, which will still be a spicy match, fighting over some seeding there. And then Monday, October 6th, Angel City and Kansas City Current on CBS Sports Network. But let's get to a break really quickly so that we can get a little breather in, and we'll be right back. And we're back here on Attacking Third with McCall and Lori by my side, and we are going to dive into all of the latest and greatest NWSL news. But first, we're going to start with the biggest news, in my opinion, the trade for Ina Sugita to Angel City. Ali Riley announcing her retirement, and of course, Rene Vignola getting sent over to Thorns, in addition to a swap of 600K in intra-league funds, which is massive. I think right now I'm looking at it in terms of, damn, Angel City got a hell of a baller in Ina Sugita. That's not to say that Emi Vignola is not a great pickup, but he's a force to be reckoned with, especially for the Thorns to give up, being a side that could potentially be thin in the midfield if knock on all of the wood, there's an injury coming up or anything ahead. Where do you guys see that landing?
I mean, I think for me, Angel City needed more class in the midfield. So I think Sugita is a really good pickup for them. They need some more creativity, someone that can imbalance an opponent. And, they picked up Neely Martin, but she's more of a defensive midfielder, isn't really have any attacking threat at all. She's experienced, but just like a solid role player. So they need someone with creativity, someone who will shake things up. We never know, right? Because players have the rights and they have to approve these trades now. So maybe Sugita was unhappy at Portland, but also MA, I'm thinking from her as well. Like, she was not playing very much. And every time she came on the game, I'm like, why is he not starting her? For whatever reason, he's not into her. So, she knows she's good enough to be a starter in this league. So I'm happy that she's now going to go fight for a spot in Portland in that left back position. And maybe they'll move Reina Reyes to the right back position.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm looking at this as a boon for Angel City picking up Sugita, just because she's very consistent. Again, a little bit quiet this season, but like her assist, her vision, her creation and capacity to help others create and open up space. She connects different phases of play. She's kind of that do-all midfielder. So yeah, if I'm Angel City, my tongue is rolled out like a cartoon wolf, being like, oh, like getting her. For the Thorns, I'm kind of wondering, Yes, they still have Fleming. Yes, they still have Coffee. Yes, they have Olivia Moultrie. But man, Sugita's a very do-all player. And then losing, picking up Vignola. I guess, Lori, where do you see Vignola shoring up the defense for them?
Yeah, well, first of all, I agree with all of you. I think Sugita is one of my favorite midfielders. I
Love.
think she is like just top class. So I think that's a big loss for Portland, more than maybe they're going to expect, because not only for all the reasons that you all just said, but she covers a ton of ground too. And I think that is one of the things that's going to help Angel City, because add to Neely Martin, all of a sudden that midfield looks very different. And I feel like that's been the main talking point for Angel City, is, you have Sarah Gordon, Giselle Thompson leading that back line. But then now, obviously, you have Raylan Turner without Alyssa Thompson, but you have Jan's daughter as well up top. So it's always been the midfield has been the conversation. Like, they need more. They need players that can play box to box. Hina can do all those, plus play the final pass and everything you said. So huge pickup. But I also think this is a great move for Ime Vignola, because she can play either as a left back, a right back if you want her to, but she can also play in the wing position. And one of the things I feel like Rob Gale has been talking about all along is they need more dynamic wingers for the way that they want to play, to add to Raylan Turner and her ability up top. And now Dufour, who's very different than Ime Vignola, has picked up a season-ending injury. So again, they're thin in the wing positions. And when Hina was there, we would see typically, if they played all four of those midfielders, it'd be Moultrie that would play as like a winger, and they would just invert her. So now they can, whether it's as an outside back position or a winger, they have somebody that is no doubt wants to take players on. She can add a goal scoring threat from either of those positions. So I think this suits Portland and the needs and what they're looking for as well. Especially when you think about Sophia coming back, but also Morgan Weaver slowly coming back potentially. I think this is just going to be a really important pickup down the line for Portland as well, just to add to what they're looking for.
Yeah, even watching Angel City playing against Louisville, the link up between Miyabi and Endo, and now the question of the entrance of Ina Sugita. What do you think that means for a player like a Kennedy Fuller, who was slotting in behind Endo at the 10?
Well, I was just going to say, I think Endo hasn't made the return that they were expecting. I think she's been having more complications and problems, and she was that kind of Sugita kind of player for them, but she hasn't been able to return back the same, kind of been in and out of injury and recovering from that ACL still. So to get Sugita in there, who is always healthy, like Lori said, covering a lot of ground, always just like, sometimes she reminds me of a fairy, like she's just floating around out there, like above everybody else, just like, yeah, I'm out here flying and creating. So I think she will, and also entertainment. LA wants to be entertained. It's a big city. They want those kind of, exciting, colorful players. And so she will bring that. She has so much finesse. I love that for her. But, she'll be around Endo. So maybe that'll be like a healthy situation for them off the field as well.
Yeah. I also wonder if Endo, because originally she was playing as like a more of a winger. And then obviously she had some flexibility, especially under Freya Coombe when she played as the winger, like would be able to come inside. And I think those two, with the way that Hina Sugita can keep possession, bring others into the game, they could also go with that look as well. And then on the other side, it's just like an offset attack, where on the other side you have more of like a direct type style. So it'll be interesting. But I think those two, especially as June Enda comes back, I think those two and their understanding with one another could be a really important aspect to this Angel City. That's the hope, right? And then Kennedy Fuller, I think, will still continuously. I think what it does is drive competition. It drives competition. It drives players continuing to develop. I mean, we can't forget, is Kennedy Fuller 18 yet? So she's still young, right? You have Macy Hodge in there. So there is, I think, you're just continuing to level up and push the quality, which is exciting for this Angel City team.
So here's my other little thought experiment that I'm just going to spring on you guys. So there's also 600K floating around now.
I was just going to say, I'm sorry, but Portland got this deal because MA is going to help them so much. And then now they have a big chunk of money where, okay, they lost a midfielder, but maybe they have one in mind that they're going after it right now.
Okay,
Like,
McCall, let's play fantasy manager. What are you spending on at the Thorns?
well, you just lost a midfielder, so you go get a midfielder, right?
Okay,
Especially
so
because
are you
Coffee's
blowing all 600K on a midfielder? Who you eyeballing? Who's your dream get for Portland that you think would fit really well?
I want to see like a Swedish midfielder come. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, we for
okay.
whatever reason we're not attracting a ton of those players yet.
Are you going
Swedish.
for height, a little bit of sturdy, a little bit of cleverness?
I mean, I would have loved like an Olme or something, but again, you don't know the length of their contracts and stuff like that. She's kind of similar to Sam Coffey, but slightly different, which would she would anchor a little bit more, so she would allow Sam Coffey to kind of float forward because Sam's been so good on the dribble lately. Like she's really taking on players and kind of getting higher and more forward, especially with the national team. But that's another point as well. Coming up with these competitions, Sam Coffey's going to be gone. Fleming is going to be gone. You have to understand that they play for their respective national teams as well. So to get players in, just for depth in the midfield, even.
Absolutely. Laura, you have any ideas for who you don't have to go midfielder, but who you would plug for the Thorns with some of the cash that they have to spread around now?
Yeah, well, I would probably try to pick up 2 players. One would be a midfielder for sure, and then also I would go with a center back because I feel like that is a position that they've had to rotate. I
Oh
love
yeah.
Wyatt. Yeah, and they're young and in the midfield in particular, though, I think now they have been even with Hina Sagita in the lineup or just on the roster, they ask a lot of that midfield, a lot of minutes. They ask them to be the best every single game, be the leaders. So yes, add some depth, but I also would add some depth right down the middle and anchor that back line a little bit because they've had some injuries in that position as well. And it's just a matter of time to be able to get those players back, have them one recover, but also get into like top fitness, right? Top form. So I would spend the money on 2 players.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm
So was
hoping, and that's what I'm hoping. MA plays left back, so then you can slide Reina to the right back, and then you have less youth in your back line.
Yeah. And then you also get
okay,
to
yeah,
play a little bit of that
stabilizer.
hybrid, right? That
Mhm.
you see all the time now, which is like push MA up because she can cover that ground. That's why it's one of the reasons why she's so useful is the work and the timing to be able to get forward. But then you can almost play as a 3-back with her in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where I was leaning when I was like, "Ooh, well, that's a good spicy choice for them just to get somebody that can get up and down that wing." But while we're talking about midfields, I want to jump into what I think will be a midfield battle between Gotham and Seattle Reign. Now, these 2 teams coming up this weekend, battle for 3rd, top 4 seeding implications going on. We have Juan Carlos Amorós, who, Paul, you're very familiar with, who's very good at getting the absolute best out of players, and Laura Harvey, who is inarguably one of the best in-game tacticians, can make the best adjustments, very nimble squad that we have coming up. What do you think we're going to see out of these teams, or what will be your keys to this match?
I mean, I've loved the evolution of Jalen Howe at Gotham. I think she's found her home. She's coming alive. I mean, she spent 4 or 5 years in the league, hasn't scored 1 goal, and now she all of a sudden has 4 goals here at Gotham. So it's working for her. She likes living there. She likes playing there. She likes being coached by Juan. Great, love it. And I think that she's finesse, but she's also a destroyer in there. You know, she can score goals. She can make short range passing, long range passing, but she's also very good at reading the play, breaking up plays, which you want from your deeper midfielder. Now going against competition, you have Jess Fishlock, who was not her best last game, right? Got subbed off in around the 60th minute. Didn't look her strongest. So, but for the remaining month before that, I was like, this girl's flying. So if she can just,
A long season for the experienced players.
Exactly. I do think it is going to be a midfield battle. But I also think both of those teams are going to make the playoffs in the end, no matter what.
I think this is going to be a really narrow scoreline. I think that this is going to be a battle for getting a goal off. Seattle Quite frankly, I think it's going to be really, really smart transitions. But with the way that Gotham is sort of catching fire again, which we know they can and do every season, it's kind of insane the mentality that's there that is just so resilient that you legitimately can never count that squad out. Making reinforcements, Jaden Shaw coming over has been a massive boon, as well as Rose Lavelle, who we talked about the other night too, that just looks like peak perfect Rose Lavelle, and then getting Midge back into the squad where they just have this reinforced attacking power. How can the Seattle Reign really shut that down over this weekend?
Yeah, well, I think one, I think you said it there, and that's what I was going to say is smart transitions. I think they have to. I mean, at this point in time of the season, we do talk about travel a lot, especially from west to east. But at this point in time of the season, that it is so difficult. So this game for Gotham being at home, as our producer Courtney rightfully points out, is Gotham's had a lot of games in quick succession, especially last night against Washington. So this game being at home for Gotham, I think they have to use that to their advantage. But for Seattle, with the travel, I feel like their inconsistent play, first and foremost, smart defensively. That is one thing. We spoke with Jordan Heidema actually after the game on Sunday night. And she was mentioning, Cupo, were you on that with me? Were we on that together?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what day was it, Lori?
Yeah.
What hour? What
That
continent
was
are we
this
on?
week. That's
Go
weird.
on, girl.
Yeah. But the one thing that she pointed out is that how they can change defensively under Laura Harvey this year with the depth that they have, just the ability and time to work on some of those defensive shapes, whether they're playing a 3-back, whether they're playing a 4-back, but also just how they're pressing or not. And I think that is going to have to be top of mind in this game to, one, condense the space for all the attackers that are in form right now for Gotham, and then just be clinical in transition, because that's going to be their best bet, especially with Gotham. I think they have to manage this game in possession and also just make sure that they don't give up too much defensively with playing high line, bringing Sonnet, those players forward to keep possession, because through Haitema, maybe Yasmi official, and her ability to get in behind. You also have Maddie Darlene, who scored last week, right? They can transition. So it's going to have to be clinical for Seattle defensively, but is also in those moments when they get them.
Yes,
So I
but
think
y'all, Sam Meza versus Rose Lavelle ain't happening. Rose right now
and add in Jaden Shaw to that mix. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Lock it down, because
Rose Lavelle's form right now is Rose top shelf $1,000 bottle type Rose Lavelle. So
yeah,
she's peaking right at the correct time. She's good at this. She knows what she's doing. Every single season she comes alive when it matters. She starts flowing in her form. And she's pretty much, I mean, I've had the experience of chasing her around the midfield before when she's in top form, and I literally can't keep up. It's way too hard.
Yeah.
She causes headaches, and
she
really
just
hard
gets
to
better
stop.
and better too. I didn't even feel like this is like, it's not even vintage to me. It's like a new Rose Lavelle in a lot of ways, because now she's even added in more consistently the ability to like continuously bring others into the game. And that to me is just like a full on like attacking midfielder, because we all know what she can do individually. And now the combinations, everything. Yeah, I just feel like this is
even the
level.
combinations, and like it hasn't even been very long with Jade and Shaw, the way that we see them playing off each other is like the hair just raised on my arms. I don't know. I'm just glad I don't have to defend that. It's insane. So I guess that brings us to the question of, if Gotham wins, can they finish third? Now, there's also the caveat being that a Gotham win would leapfrog Seattle. However, it depends a lot on the tiebreaker. So goal difference head to head, and then it hinges on some of the other results like Portland, San Diego, and others, which gives them really good momentum and leverage. So what are our predictions, McCall, Lori? Do they slide up into that third place slot?
Yeah.
Yes,
Lori with an emphatic head shake, yes.
I think this is going to be a tight game, because I think Seattle knows they have to be up for it regardless of travel and all the things that we've talked about. But I think Gotham, the way that they're starting to hit form now, get results, even if it's ties, they're getting results, right? So, and they're starting. I mean, Jaden Shaw slipped into this team seamlessly. I mean, that's incredible to watch, and it's so fun. And so they have so many. Mitch Purse, we haven't even mentioned her, and the form that she's coming into now gives them a completely different dynamic up top. So I think there's so many threats. The form that Gotham are in, still think it's going to be tight, but I give the win to Gotham, and I'm going to go.
Yeah.
2-0.
They're locking it in. You're on board.
2-0.
Ooh, okay. What do you got, McCall?
Okay, so my theory at this point is if you're sitting in the top 8 and you get points every game, you're making the playoffs. Whether you get a tie or a win, you're not going anywhere. You're going to make it, no doubt about it.
Okay. So seeding, are they going to get that third
so
slot with this win?
even if they tie, they're chilling.
Okay.
But I think they're going to get the 2-1 edge.
2-1. All right. I you know what? I'm inclined to think that a 2-1 could happen just because I think it's going to be really hard to score some goals this game. Let's talk about more high stakes game, a true 6-pointer in this playoff chase between North Carolina Courage and Racing Louisville, who have been literally banging on the door of playoffs for seasons now, unfortunately getting stuck in the glue of that 9th place spot in the standings. The Courage are a side that is unlike their a brand of Courage that we're used to. They have been playing much better, a little bit more freely, a little bit more fluidly than we've seen. However, they're currently sitting in 8th, 28 points with a 7-7-7 record. Sevens are normally a lucky number. It doesn't feel so lucky in this instance. Louisville currently just behind on 26 points, but now everything is so tight. Louisville on the momentum of a massive win this past weekend against Angel City, where they're now back in this conversation. They have this mentality right now going forward in this season of a very do it for DeMello that's added this intangible that has just galvanized this team further. Can that Louisville momentum really carry them to another win this week against North Carolina?
I mean, it will be telling. I think this weekend is going to show, which Louisville is going to finish the season. But I think for me, in my analytical perspective of like all the research I've done and all the things, the teams that are given their opponents that they're following for the next 4 games, right? So I chopped down who they have left to play in their 4 games to make it realistic, like who can they actually beat. I have Louisville making the playoffs. I do.
Ooh, all aboard the Bev Express.
Because I don't have Courage making it. Courage is going to be number 9. So
what do you think, Laura?
Well, I think this game is going to be a tie, actually. And to McCall's what you were saying earlier, which is like if you just pick up points and you're in that top 8 right now, I do think that is because you don't. Obviously, if you're dropping points and somebody else is picking up points, so then that's an issue, right? So if you're just at least getting some ties and stuff, then you're going to keep yourself in a decent position. I do think DeMello, I think the momentum that they have is a huge aspect. I think you see it in championship teams. You saw it with Ali Krieger a few years ago. You saw it with the Marta last year when everyone was like, maybe she's retiring or not, right? Or like all this. And you just see it's like within this league, there's just a little something extra. And I do see that with Louisville. I say the tie though, because North Carolina has been very good at home. I think they're really difficult to beat at home. Louisville has played well away from home and on the road, but I still think that this game is going to end in some sort. It's going to be low scoring, I think, and I think it's going to end in a tie. And Louisville, I do feel like is like we've weathered a ton of storms this season. We're freaking making the playoffs is like basically what's happening in that locker room right now, and they're like, let's go.
And I'm okay with that.
For one,
yeah, no,
I think a fly on the wall in there.
I think if they can get 4 more points out of their 4 games, they will make the playoffs. They might be number 8, and they might have to play Kansas City, and they might not make it past the first round. But this is huge for their club for the first ever time to
You're
make
like
the playoffs.
over that hump, right?
McCall? It says we're on the map. They now have the ability to attract players. Now all of a sudden players are thinking about going to Louisville because they're a playoff team, and it just changes the whole vibe of the club. And they're a blue collar team, and they've worked their booties off, and they deserve it.
So North Carolina Courage can't suffer a draw this week. They need that win just to push them to that 31-point threshold that gives them a little bit more of a gap. If Louisville managed to turn this key and acknowledging that nobody can clinch this weekend, but there are elimination implications on the line across more than a few teams. This is going to be a stressful, dicey game. So it's going to be who can stay locked in tactically, mentally, and not get hemmed up in the fact that like this could be your sort of dying wish. And Louisville really got that. I don't know. I feel like I'm feeling like this could be a Louisville reinvigoration where we see a little renaissance and we all hop aboard the Bev Yanez Express and see
We've been on that
Louisville.
express, haven't we? It's not.
We have been. I haven't gotten off yet. Okay. It's like I'm still at the restaurant. But yeah, like if this manages to be the moment where Louisville kind of finally show their full moxie and they get through on goal difference and tiebreakers and everything else, they still have to beat Gotham. They still have to lock it in.
And
So
this is what
the
I'm
road
saying.
ahead is not paved in gold.
And then so now we look at Courage, right? Courage
Yeah.
cannot tie this game because you know who they play next? Spirit. You ain't winning that game. Bay, okay, you might win that game. And then Gotham, you're not winning that game. So they might pick up 3 points out of the last 4 games. It's not enough for them to make the playoffs. They can't tie this game or lose it.
Is Pinto back? I haven't seen the availability report.
It hasn't updated yet. I'm clicking it every 5 seconds.
Just keep
like
refreshing. Yeah. I hope so for Bree's sake because she can always get a sneaky goal out of that.
Yeah, I totally. Did we lose McCall?
Yeah, I did just lose me for a second.
It was like, I'll look at availability report. See ya. Yeah. If Pinto's there, I think that also gives them a very different look because she has been such a spark, regardless if she's starting or coming off the bench. So, and she's been good for goals, and they need that.
Yeah, she's old, trusty, reliable for sure. I think let's take a quick little break, and we will jump right back in with the WSL because we're covering the whole globe of women's football for just a second. And we are back. I promised quick, and we were quick. We're going to jump right into the WSL Match Day 5 preview. Our eyes turn to Man United versus Chelsea on Friday. United have been wildly improved this season. I will say that. And we're coming up against an absolutely perfect Chelsea squad who has both depth and Sonia Bonpastor's just absolute tenacity and experience. What have we got, ladies? Who's excited for this match? How do you think it's going to play out? Can United pull an absolutely insane upset?
Well, I'll eat my words because I thought United was going to struggle. So, and they're the only one.
Call with the accountability early.
They're the only one up there chilling unbeaten. So, but and of course, I love that because I'm a United girly. But I mean, this is the best matchup weekend so far, and I can't believe we're getting it. On the 5th weekend for them, but. I mean, for me, I look at Chelsea and they're still struggling with quite a few injuries. I think Lucy Bronze is still a question mark. Girma's still a question mark. And like
LJ, Neve Charles. Yep.
I mean,
okay, hold on. But they have Kerr coming off the bench. They have Cindy last weekend. They have, their whole, everybody that was on the bench. I even had it written down. What was it? Hold on, let me see if I have the list. Yeah. It was Ellie Carpenter, Kat Macario, Kerr, Sandy Baltimore, all on there, Gu Wrighton. It is absurd. I agree with you, though, that Man United, this is the best I think they've looked consistently under Mark Skinner. So credit to them. Yeah. I just think the depth, and I feel like they would fancy their chances the most out of this matchup for the first time in a while. And Valentina Tolis Joyce has been in excellent form. I would just say defensively, I would be a little bit concerned, especially with the attackers of Chelsea. But Chelsea's defense without Girma, Lucy Bronze, I feel like has been their biggest vulnerability. I just think the depth that they have is going to take over.
It's insane. It really is. I think the only considerations I have right now is October 7th. Chelsea has the consideration of Champions League that I know will be in Sonia Bonpastor's back of her mind. This isn't new. It's not a new frontier for Chelsea, however. They have such depth and talent and versatility that, 4 matches, 4 wins already. United just beating Liverpool away, getting a little bit hot already. I think that gives them a little bit more of a boost going into a massive match like this, even though, I don't know, Chelsea just absolutely slapped West Ham around last weekend 4-0, including the absences. So they're still seem to be feared.
I think United's going to get it, y'all, and here's why. Chelsea are missing 2 major pieces in the back line, especially Lucy Bronze, who sometimes your best defense is attacking, right? Like, because she gets at the field so well, she puts the pressure on the opponent. And United has the largest goal differential. They are banging in goals, and the back line of Chelsea isn't at its full strength. So I think it's going to be tight margins. They're only going to win by like 1 goal, but I think United's going to have the edge.
Ooh. Are you giving the edge to United too today, Lori?
Well, I'm giving the edge to Manchester United in the sense that I think this is going to be their best chance, like I said, as of late. But no, I'm still going with Chelsea. I think with the depth, regardless. My only concern is that they have been chopping and changing more often, like in terms of how they're 3-back, 4-back. But I'm like, you're looking across. You're bringing in Aggie Beaver-Jones, the form that she's in. Alyssa Thompson could start, right? I just think that this is a Chelsea team, even away from home, even with Man United, with the start that they've had. I still think the history says it's Chelsea. And I think at this moment, I'm still going to go with Chelsea.
Here's the drill, though. Like, United, this is your chance to get the head-to-head on them, because it's probably not going to happen later in the season. If they could win this game and have the edge on the head-to-head, this is massive, and now is the time to get Chelsea.
Yeah, in the 16 matches that these 2 teams have come together to play, United have only won once. With that being said, one of the key things that United have really, really excelled at this season is they've tightened up so much defensively, and they look way more dangerous in transition than they ever have. And that's the kind of team profile on its own that could actually punish Chelsea. I think if they can stay compact defensively, they have a chance. But for United, there's going to be a lot of questions asked of that defense, especially with Alyssa Thompson, who is just kind of a different kind of player than they're used to having to come up against in that Chelsea attack, which already is, I'd say, inarguably the best midfields and top line in all of WSL. Even if Bonpastor rotates, you know what? I think this game is more likely to come to a draw, and that will feel like a win for United, is my prediction.
Okay, I was just going to ask, how many games do you think Chelsea are going to drop this season?
Well, they haven't lost a league game since May.
How many times do you think they're actually going to lose this season?
If they take so I'm just going to consider WSL right now outside of Champions League.
No, only league play.
I'll say maybe they lose an odd 2. It'd be like my top expectation for them. They are a team that, yes, right now has some key injuries to just exuberant talent. But for what they have in terms of depth and coverage, they don't tend to lose much. And it really ends up being sort of the surprise teams that end up pulling points off of them. So do I think they'll have an invincible season? No. But I think that they'll have very few losses. I think teams that pull up and draw with them will feel like they've accomplished a lot.
I think the depth of Chelsea says so much about Sonia Bonpastor and the club. Like
Yeah, the
top
club's
notch
commitment to
players
getting in.
that could start anywhere else just want to play for Chelsea. And they're down to not start and, you know, to rotate just because they want to be on a dominant, winning, historically sound club. Like that is just incredible. They want to be trained well. I'm sure they have great training sessions from Sony, you know, an ex-player for a very long time. Like it says so much when fabulous players are sitting on the bench.
Yeah, serial winner in Champions League. She knows how to get things done. Let's move to another team who seemingly knew how to get it done. Champions League. Arsenal are playing Man City this weekend. Two clubs most likely to push Chelsea around this season, in my opinion. Man City are coming in absolutely hot, 4-1 win. Attack has been great. Confidence is soaring. Arsenal, however, my beloved, under Renee Slegers. They're winless in two. They are drawing more than I'd like to see this early in the season. They have managed to control huge chunks of matches, but then are just kind of dropping points late. These lapses defensively, a little bit toothless in the attack when it comes to seeing those final balls through. um, City don't have a Champions League match midweek, so they can kind of fully focus on just this match. Arsenal will be looking down the pipe at Lyon on Tuesday, so squad management will be a factor for sure. Um, where do you guys see this falling out? What do you think Arsenal's biggest strength is at this point that they need to lean into? Or how can they salvage a win against a Man City side that right now are kind of clean sailing through?
Yeah, well, I'm just going to jump in, McCall, because Cupo, you said squad rotation, and that's been the biggest talking point around Arsenal so far this season. Is just that they haven't. Like Kim Little has played every single minute in their first 4 games, and now Champions League starts. So you have like somebody like Kyra Cooney-Cross that hasn't played a ton. So it's just like, okay, there's been talk around like, why are these players, Nice Wongers, we all know that's been like,
Yeah. Who weren't even on the team sheet
yeah,
last match.
He's not
Yeah.
even making game day rosters. Then
Mhm.
figure something out for the girl. Let her go. Something.
yeah. So I do think that that is interesting and what that's going to look like because you haven't been rotating your squad. And that comes down once you start adding in a lot of different competitions and multiple games that you need those players. So that's my biggest concern. Also, obviously the drop points in the last 2 games for Arsenal, they kind of look like they're just with the talent they have, like getting by right now. Whereas Man City to me looks like rejuvenated. They look like much more dynamic. They look there's a more fluidity and freedom that they're playing with this season. And listen, I think anytime you have Bunny Shaw on your team, you're going to score goals. So I'm actually give the edge to Man City, given that they don't have Champions League to look ahead to. All the focus is on this for them in this game. They have home field advantage, and I'm trying to think what else I had on here too with all my notes that I put in. Yeah, I mean, I just think 3 goals in 4 games for Bunny Shaw. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for two sides where you had, golden ball, like golden boot rather, noms in Bunny and Alessia Russo, and the expectations upon each team. For me, Arsenal really need to fix the concentration lapses, clinical finishing again. And then what I'm really worried about coming up against City is some of the errors in their defending in transition that City can really exploit. Viv Miedema is very familiar with her former teammates and club who will absolutely slice like hot knife through butter,
Yeah.
and get those goals off, which is kind of terrifying to see.
Don't let her
But
get
if
going.
if City wins this, I feel like it already positions them to be, the closest team to battle Chelsea, which
Yeah.
again, these are teams that, WSL very top heavy. You lose matches early on, you lose a lot of footing very quickly where you start to slump down the table. So right now, stakes are high for both teams. Man City, I didn't anticipate them coming out as strong this season, but they have statements to make. We know that they suffered a lot of injuries toward the end of last season. They were a little bit light. They didn't really have the luxury of rotation. Again, to your point, Lori, Arsenal will rotate, but unfortunately, can we really call it a rotation if you're just rotating the same players around the same carousel? You're seeing the same names, just different day, another again. It does get a little bit redundant. So will Arsenal get undone this week just based on Renee's necessity toward sort of the creature comforts of players that she trusts? Foxy is going to be really busy this week.
Very. Very.
I also just think it's interesting now with these top teams like Arsenal winning Champions League, but how do you manage all these other competitions too, to not just be able to win like a one-off? I mean, that's a huge accomplishment, right? Like we all know like how amazing that was. But I do think like when you start to think about like winning the league, plus also putting yourself up there with in Champions League to win that consistently, it's like how you do have to use your entire squad. And that's what I'll be looking for, I think, most this weekend is how they're preparing, knowing that they have a quick turnaround with the Tuesday game against Lyon.
Yeah, Lyon for me is intimidating. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
It is. And I just think they're missing Leah Williamson. Like she's a solid rock back there. She's consistent. Right. And, they're just letting in too many goals and not getting great performances. And they need a player like that. So,
yeah, I can't disagree with you there. I think we're seeing a shakier Arsenal than I even anticipated this season. Yes, they're coming off the momentum of being like reigning Champions League winners. However, the squad doesn't seem to be as seamless as it was in the latter part of the season, where there was a lot more fight in them. Again, lots of things happening late in matches, whether it be errors or lapses or just unable to finish, which is kind of wild given the talent that they actually do have for this squad.
Well, Jen
it'll be
Beattie better get
interesting.
her girls. She better
I
call
know,
her
right?
girls.
Beattie, let's
Yeah,
put in
them like
let's put in
getting
calls.
second.
So what are your scoreline predictions, Lori? What do you have? You think that Man City are going to come up big this week, or Arsenal will triumph? No pressure.
Yeah. I do think that Man City, this would be their chance as well to get this win, and kind of really push and rival at the top and stay at the top this season. Yikes. I think I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Man City, and it's going to be a late win.
Okay.
Oof, oof.
I think 3-1 City's going to win. Although we have to remember, like, Lauren Hemp is ruled out, and I feel like she creates a lot in the attack. But still, I think Medina is going to get 2, and they're going to do 3-1 on them.
Okay, I'm going the inverse. I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal. They're going to squeak it out. I think we're going to get this lovely little Chloe Kelly revenge tour, and we'll get some goals at Arsenal this match. Again, you have the Chloe Kelly against Man City, and you have Viv Miedema against Arsenal.
Yeah,
either way, it's going to be very interesting. I like to always lean on the
I love
petty,
this time of
so
year.
I'm like, let's right. I'm like, let's see, rubs palms. I think we could get an Arsenal win out of this. We have to. We on you Gunners. My Arsenal fandom showing. It hurts my heart when I see them do so poorly when I know they've got quality. All right, I think that brings us to our end of the show. Now that we've gotten me with some dissonance, and I hope that every Arsenal player is listening to the show to get some momentum for the weekend. I just want to remind you all that CBS is the exclusive U.S. English language home of the UEFA Women's Champions League, with coverage beginning on Tuesday, October 7th. Yes, that's this upcoming Tuesday. All matches will stream live on Paramount Plus, and select matches during the league phase will air on CBS Sports Network and CBS Sports Galazzo Network. Coverage will begin at 2 p.m. on October 7th with UEFA Women's Champions League today. Attacking Third will return Monday, October 6th, right here on YouTube after the final whistle of Angel City, Kansas City Current, with Sandra Herrera, Lori Lindsey, and McCall Zerboni, where we'll discuss all of the biggest takeaways from week 23, have a post-match player interview as always, and of course, put together the A3 weekly best 11, which I know you've all waited all week for that. So make sure you tune in. This is goodbye from me. Make sure that you follow Attacking Third wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review. We're also available on youtube.com/wgalazzo and catch us on the CBS Sports Galazzo Network for all of your women's football. From myself, McCall Zerboni, and Lori Lindsey, this has been Attacking Third.